The Guardians, a three-game series, will wrap up the first half of the year, and then it's the Major League Baseball Draft Sunday. Guardians, for the first time ever, will have the first overall pick in that draft. President of Baseball Operations Chris Antonetti talked about how the Guardians will approach this year's draft and having that first overall pick.
One of the things we're excited about within this draft class is there's a number of good high quality players available to us with the first pick. And we think that'll be the case actually with subsequent picks we have after the first pick. So that's probably the best direction I can give you, is that there's a group of players that we would be excited about bringing into the organization with the first pick. I think there are two things that will go into our decision. First and foremost, the thing we are trying to solve for organizationally is use the resources and draft capital we have available to us to bring in the most talented group possible. And that's really what we're solving for. And we think, when we look up at the end of the draft, we'll feel good about the group of players we bring into the organization.
With that, let's welcome in Keith Law, one of the best baseball writers in America, currently writes for The Athletic. Keith, we've got your top 100 prospect scouting report. Before we get into that, can you explain the whole slotting process and pool money that's available? Because Chris Antonetti had said, that they're kind of viewing it as the most overall pool money ever available, and we know that there's $10.5 million slotted to that first overall pick.
Sure. So the number one thing to bear in mind for folks who don't know about the mechanics of the baseball draft is we don't have fixed bonuses for each pick. So if you are the first overall pick or the 10th or the 20th, your bonus is not fixed. There is a recommended slot value for each selection in the first 10 rounds. And each club then has a bonus pool equal to the sum of all of those recommendations. But each individual pick's bonus can be negotiated, will be negotiated, and you can go over slot or under slot with any individual pick. The goal is to keep your total for all your bonuses for all the players you pick in the top 10 rounds. I mean, there are little exceptions. I'm just trying to stay big picture here. Don't exceed your total of all those recommendations by more than 5%. In that case, if you go more than 5% over, you lose a pick the next year. So you can take that first pick, which Cleveland has, and go under slot, under the recommendation, which almost every team does when they pick first overall, and then take that reduction and apply it to subsequent picks, usually to multiple subsequent picks, to go over slot. So you go under slot at 1, you go over slot at 36 and 48. As long as the total doesn't exceed your total recommendation by more than 5%, you're golden. And teams that pick first overall tend to do exactly that. It is a common strategy to offer your first pick, say, a little bit more than the slot recommendation for pick number 2, so that you can go get several other first-round talents with picks in second round, third round, or in the case of Cleveland, if you have extra picks, all the more reason to get creative, try to land. If I'm Cleveland, I'm thinking we're going to get 3 first-round talents, or we can, at least, if we play our board correctly.